Hello everyone and welcome back to another sketchbook tour. This time we'll be looking through this sketchbook that I've been working in since June 2024 up until April 2026. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching, hi, my name is Aiko. I'm an illustrator and small business owner, and on social media I share my creative journey, which includes sharing my sketchbook. This is a Talens Art creation sketchbook. I think it's just a regular A5 size. Before we begin, I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. Within my sketchbook, I often write small notes next to sketches, illustrations that sometimes contain negative self-talk. Just want to warn you, don't take these little notes personally. These are just a reflection of my opinions on a sketch that I made at the time and whether a sketch reached its goals. So don't think that if you make art like this or you aspire to make art like that, that I think your art is bad or anything. It's just spur of the moment little note for myself. Yeah, and without further ado, let's begin. For this illustration within the cover, I wanted to go all out and I used acrylic paint. This sketchbook doesn't take huge paint pages that well, so I wanted to make sure to do it in the cover, knowing that the paper wouldn't crinkle, and I made it interactive. Here you can see a little bear within a house. I'm also a picture book illustrator and I would really like to make picture books including interactive elements in the future, and this was basically a little test page to see how I would approach illustrations like this. And yeah, here are a bunch of stickers that I made that are currently available in my shop alongside the date on when I started. I initially wanted to put my contact information in here, but I kind of forgot. And here's the first page. This is a character design I made for a D&D campaign, where it's basically a little mouse that operates in a sort of knight armor mech. So the little mouse is located within the helmet. I actually never ended up using this character. Hope to do so in the future, because I think it's a really fun mechanic. Here's some more exploration of that knight. And here, basically a sort of characterization of myself as a zombie. I am in a book club and I thought it would be a lot of fun to draw each of the book club members as sort of monsters, a bit inspired by Monster High. And one of my friends was like, I don't think anyone would want to be the zombie. So I was like, sure, I'll be the zombie. And yeah, I explored that idea here. Never ended up actually drawing the rest of the group, but I still really liked that idea and want to do it. So I hope to have a little bit more time in the future to pick up this idea again. And here are some sketches for product development. I have an online shop where I design and sell my own products, and one of my most popular products are bookmarks. And here I was designing a few new ones. I ended up using this one and these two as well. This one ended up looking like this, and I made 3 color variants of it. And this was also an idea for a Christmas card that I never ended up doing. Also still want to pick up, but yeah, limited time. And here I was basically doing a swatch test, seeing what the markers were capable of. They were these Arrtx acrylic markers. And these were explorations for a drawing that I could make with the markers. And I ended up going with this one. That video is up on my YouTube channel if you're interested in watching. Here are some more of the sleepy bear that I ended up turning into die-cut cards / bookmarks and stickers. And I also wanted to participate in Peachtober that I ended up never doing, but I also still really like the few sketches that I did make. More exploration with the Arrtx markers. These were plein air sketches, so I went to the city and basically drew whatever I saw. And this was for a short video where I wanted to show people how I draw bears and how, in my opinion, easy it is to do. And I made a bunch of different variations of them here. These were for sticker sheets. Here is for a bigger drawing that I also ended up drawing for a YouTube video. And here I was exploring ideas for Christmas cards. Some more exploration of this drawing. This this was the composition I ended up going with. And here I was exploring what I wanted the character to wear. I wanted it to be a mix between a pilot and a witch. And this was for another product that I got sent. This was for a pencil brand. And here I was just testing what they would be capable of. More product development. Here another few tests for possible critters for the bookmarks. Yeah, and this is for maybe a potential future tote bag design. Here I was having a lot of fun with colored pencils. My goal for this sketchbook was to use a lot more color and kind of play around in general. And yeah, that's what I ended up doing here. These are a mix of the Arrtx markers alongside colored pencils, only colored pencils. Use a reference for this one, and these are basically two of my friends that I turned into personas. I'm not entirely sure which pencils I used here. I basically use a mix of 3 colored pencils. I use the Faber Castell Polychromos a lot. These are like the first good pencils I ever received. I got these for my birthday a few years ago, and I think out of all the pencils that I used, that these are the best ones. Also have these Woomer pencils. They come in a lot of colors. They're also fine, though I would say the quality per color can differ quite a bit sometimes, and they tend to break quite quickly. Lastly, I also use the Arrtx markers from time to time. Don't have a lot to say about these. The quality also varies a lot per colored pencil. I wonder if I can show you this. I basically put them in like these glass jars per sort of color, so I don't always know which ones I'm picking up. But I've been using the Polychromos for the longest, so I would recommend those the most. And over here, these were just doodles. My goal is to try and get better at drawing without a sketch and just immediately drawing with pen and trying to get the proportions right. For this, I used this pen. I enjoy it a lot. It's not really waterproof, but for these thicker lines, I really enjoy using this. There's a lot of control in the pen. Here I drew a few beavers that I think worked out really well. Funny baby albatross and some other critters. I enjoy also filling up my pages as much as possible, though I don't mind leaving up some empty spaces here and there as well. Sometimes I go back to them to try and fill them up, but yeah. I often try to make myself laugh with pages like this. Don't necessarily try to make something really exceptional. And here are some pencil sketches. This is for an original character of mine. I don't draw this character that often, though I've had him stuck in my head ever since I was like 16. And I'm still like figuring out how I want to draw him. And here are just some ladies. Here are some more sketches with that pen that I just showed you. More product development for my shop. These were sticky note ideas and these were washi tape ideas. I don't think I actually ended up doing any of these yet, but they might come in the future. I still really like these two and this one. Not so sure about these, we'll see. And here is some more exploration with mixed media. I don't often just use colored pencil or just use markers, but I go in with both of them. I feel like that gives me a lot more options to create depth and color variations. Yeah, this is a character based on a book I was reading at the time. I have to say, I really don't like how the eyes turned out. I feel like she looks... she's supposed to look very friendly and wholesome, though I feel like she also looks kind of stressed in a way. I don't know, her face kind of bothers me a little bit. And over here I drew this Pepe. I don't draw realism that often, and I try to have a go at it here again using acrylic markers and color pencils, and it turned out really well. Yeah, once I started, I really wanted to try to make it as realistic as possible, and I think I succeeded quite well. A few more Muppets, again, to make myself laugh, and here's a sheep. I was really proud of this one. I really like how cloudy it turned out. Some quick sketches, again, product ideas. These are for die-cut sticky notes that I want to make. Not sure yet which ones I'll eventually end up making. And this was the first drawing I made in 2025, January 1st. I was staying over at a friend's house at the time, and I was one of the first people to wake up, and I drew this dog statue that she had. And this one is the more realistic version, and here I stylized it a little bit. And this is an illustration that my friend drew of the two of us together. Cherish this page a lot of fun memories. And here are some studies of otters. Again, for product designs for the bookmark. I had never drawn otters before, I think. And I was exploring how to draw them so I could make them as cute as possible for the final product. And I ended up studying the sea otter over here. I ended up going with this composition. And here are some river otters. I ended up going with this one for the bookmarks. And I ended up turning this composition into a sticker that you can see right here. Just two otters lying in a heart. I really like how these turned out. And sketching like this really allows me to understand the forms of these animals a lot better before I hop into the actual drawing. It makes me feel a lot more confident and yeah, just knowing the shapes of the animals. Here you can see me really like sort of trying to block out what the shape of the snout is, where the ears are positioned, and the shape of the head, and then trying to implement what I've learned within these drawings. And same here. For some of these I used reference photos and eventually tried to draw from memory, only using the drawings I made myself. And yeah, like I said, implementing what I learned. Here are some more drawings that I did for another marker review that I've made a video on here on my channel. And here are some explorations on how I want the characters to be posed. This ended up becoming a postage stamp. In Dutch we call postage stamps postzegels. If you remove like one letter from it, the Z, postegel, it basically means post hedgehog, and I thought it would be fun to make a post hedgehog as like a little postman and turn that into a postage stamp. So I have those up on my shop as well, and I also use them to send my own mail, which is really fun. You can, if you didn't know, you can make your own customized postage stamps over on the PostNL website if you're Dutch. You can just upload a picture on there. It costs a little more than a regular post stamp, but they're a lot of fun. And here just a sort of stealth portrait, I guess, where it looks like I made myself for a sort of dress-up game. And here you can see the other illustration that ended up becoming this one. This is the original illustration that I made with watercolors and colored pencil. I use this watercolor set basically for everything, for a lot of products, for a lot of illustrations that I've made so far. They are hard to open though. What the f? Yes. It's this little travel set, and I use this small brush that comes with it. Very simple, really effective. I really like these watercolors. And I just went with colored pencil over the top of the drawing. This was for a swatch test for some markers, and I thought instead of just making little dots like I did here, maybe it's fun to turn each of the colors into like separate little jackets with girlies that are wearing them. And I really enjoy how this page turned out. And here are some swatch tests for Stabilo markers that I've also used a lot in this sketchbook. They're practically like fineliners that you can use for fun colored fineliner. I used to use these a lot when I was in middle school to write like homework with and stuff. However, I did get a comment from someone that said that these Stabilo fineliners do fade over time and practically become invisible. So I wouldn't recommend using these for any official artworks. Here is some cafe sketching that I did in Maastricht using the brush fineliner again. And here more product development sketches, little thumbnails, trying to figure out compositions, what works, what doesn't. I make a lot of these in this sketchbook. This got turned into a sticker sheet. Some more product development. Here's some tests for this page. Also made a video drawing this page up on my YouTube channel. And here, again, more product development. I have to say, out of this entire page, I love this little guy. I actually even like this sketch more than the final product that I ended up making. I don't know, it just feels so small and wholesome. And this is entirely done with colored pencil. This was for a product review. I do have to say, while I was drawing this, I was recovering from a really bad cold and I wasn't feeling really well, so I don't know, this page just doesn't give me the best vibes because I knew at the time I wasn't really feeling well, so yeah. This was some exploration for a stamp. I currently have one in development that's basically a mix between these two. More product development, more stamp development, just some random doodles without sketch. This is a drawing made by Linda. Let's see, over here I got these mechanical pencil fillings for the first time. I found these at my local art shop and they're basically just normal mechanical pencil fillings but with color. And they have them in blue and in red. And they basically look like this. You see? And ever since I got them, I have been obsessed with them. They work really well if you want to color on top of the drawings. And here I was trying them out for the first time. Here's a random painting using acrylic markers. And I love these three. Don't really know the purpose of them, but I think they're really funny. I feel like these don't show up that well on scans or on camera, so do keep that in mind if you want to use these as well. And this is one of my favorite pages of the entire sketchbook. It's a mix between watercolors and colored pencils. And yeah, I think the colors came out very vibrant and fun. It's also really inspired me to try and draw more human characters. Here's some exploration for another original character that I have. Here I was trying out how I wanted certain drawings to look using different kinds of mediums. Drawing from my friend Susanne when I went to the movies with her, and yeah, something random. Don't have much to say. Bit of a weird in-between page. This is from a student film. I think it's called Hebben. I'll put it like up on screen. It was a really fun movie. Would highly recommend you check it out if you're able to. And during the student exposition, I was able to acquire this little card. And I just stuck it in my sketchbook as a fun memory. More OC exploration. And more OC exploration using the mechanical pencil. This is one of my OCs, and these are two OCs from friends of mine. And here we have arrived at about the halfway point of this sketchbook. And I wanted to do a quick little intermission to talk about a very exciting product that I've developed. It's a sketchbook zine that I made of this sketchbook. If you've liked watching this sketchbook tour so far and are curious to basically have a little sketchbook of mine for yourself, then this product might be for you, as I turned this sketchbook into a zine. This sketchbook is currently available on my online shop, and you can purchase a physical copy, and there's a digital version available as well. A fun way to support me if you like what you've been seeing so far. And yeah, I wanted to give people the opportunity to have my sketchbook sort of for themselves. So yeah, that's all. Okay, let's get back to this one. I made this using watercolors. This one I made using fineliner. And I use this one. It's just one that I have, not particularly my favorite or anything. I don't really have a favorite fineliner, but it's a 0.1 fineliner. And here I drew another raven using acrylic markers this time. And I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but there's a like neon underpainting. And my initial idea was to make this sort of gnome character that was befriended with a raven. Make like a little story for the two of them. And these are studies for how I draw ravens, and this is how I would draw the little guy. These are some paper collages that I did, inspired by... I'm blanking on the name right now. I'll put it up on screen. But yeah, I wanted to do something more tactile with my hands, and basically just put paint on a lot of paper and either tore them apart or cut them apart and made little compositions out of them. Really fun exercise if you feel stuck in like a drawing rut or anything. This really gets the creative juices flowing, would highly recommend. Here I wanted to make a more elaborate one, but never ended up actually doing it. Didn't have the time for it. These are just some sketches of myself for my newsletter that I post every month or so. And I'll be showing you this, but I'll probably skip the next few pages. These are thumbnail sketches for a picture book that I worked on. This book is currently published, and this is basically how I prepare before I start sketching the actual pages. And here I made some studies for a character within the picture book that I drew. It's a young moose, and I had never drawn a young moose before, so I was trying to study like how can I make a stylized version of a moose. These are more realistic renderings, and here I was seeing like how can I make it look like a moose, because I find that these two still look very much like a deer, and I ended up making these snouts a little bigger in the final drawing. I find that young mooses don't have such a big snout yet, but I wanted it to be readable as a moose. So yeah, it's a bit of stylization I made. Shrimps, just a random food sticker that I stuck in here. Here are some more drawings with the Stabilo fineliners. I came up with this cat knight character, and I really like him. You'll probably be seeing him more within this sketchbook. Yeah, I feel like it just tells a really fun, cute story. It's a fun visual, and I might want to do more with this little guy in the future. Here I'm working on some compositions, taking a lot of inspiration from medieval drawings. Here he is again, with some like color exploration and studies. These two have neon underpaintings as well. I really like this one. Again, studies for one of the bookmarks that I made, but this time for a red panda. Once again, trying to figure out what the forms and shapes are of the red panda, and seeing if I have those down, how I can stylize them to make them my own thing in the future. A random study of flowers, and I don't know what this is. Oh. I think this is my least favorite page out of all of them. I tried to make a fun composition with bright colors, but I don't like how the brown turned out on some of these. Also, for some reason, tried to put the alphabet down there and didn't manage to get the entire alphabet at the bottom. So yeah, it's just a weird in-between page. And here are some more exploration of the red panda. I turned this into a sticker, this one as well, and this one as well. This one ended up in a sticker sheet, and this turned into this. I have to say I had quite a bit of trouble with the forms and the shapes of the red panda. Some of them turned out really well, and some poses just wouldn't work. So after I scanned some of these in, I used quite a lot of digital editing to fix the proportions more. Here I went to Sertogenbos on a fun little plein air drawing date with my friend Marleen. For these I used acrylic markers and the Stabilo pens. Here I used a pencil with like multiple colors in the lead. Don't know where it is right now, but I really enjoy using this from time to time. Really makes me feel like a kid again. Never ended up finishing this. I actually wanted to put a character right here, make it more of a story page, but yeah, whatever. More bookmark exploration, and I ended up drawing this while I was at an art market that was really slow, and I had a lot of free time on my hands, so I took one of the markers that I have with me, again a Stabilo marker, and just ended up drawing this entire page. This page actually ended up being really well loved by a lot of you. I made a few reels that got a lot of views, and I turned this part of the page into a postcard and an art print that have been selling really well. So yeah, thank you. Really fun how such a like kind of disappointing slow day turned into such a fun memory. I really look back fondly at this page now. Product development for washi tapes that I ended up making. These are paper cutouts that I ended up making for a sticker book. This sticker book is, as of me filming, still in development. It's a sticker book with a collaboration of over, if I remember correctly, 70 different artists, and I was allowed to make one of the sticker sheets. And this is a small gift that I got while at another art market. It's still so amazing to me that some of you make like special gifts for me, and yeah, I cherish them a lot. It's looking back at this really makes me feel so appreciated and special, and yeah, thank you everyone that has like come by at markets and enjoyed my product, had a little chat with me. I appreciate it a lot. This is another page that I made at a plein air drawing session. This is, I think, one of the first sessions that I organized myself, and we went drawing in the city park in Maastricht. It's a really fun way to also stay connected with fellow artists and just have a fun time together. This is from the Maastricht session as well. And I drew this while at a local petting zoo. These animals were like either sitting or sleeping or standing still for quite a long time. So I was able to draw them. But drawing live animals can be really difficult, especially if they move around a lot. However, this also, to me, is a really good exercise to try and understand form and perspective as well. Some Stabilo doodles. And these are stickers from washi tape that I designed. Here I tried to use the wet on wet watercolor technique, and yeah, the paper came out really wobbly, and I really noticed that the watercolor on the paper dried really fast, so this sketchbook isn't made for the wet on wet technique. So I'll be trying that on different paper in the future, because I'm still really curious and I really like the bloom effect here and here, but I wasn't able to control it at all, so I still need to practice it a little bit more. This is basically an entire page full of sketches for product designs. These two, this one, and this one ended up becoming stickers. And here I just drew them, again using watercolors and colored pencils, but you can see this paper just doesn't take water that well. Even with the little amount that I used, it still tends to wrinkle. You can't see this in the eventual product or the scans, which is really fortunate. But yeah, do keep that in mind if you want to use this Talens Art Creation sketchbook for stuff like watercolors. It doesn't do it really well. This was for a logo design for book sleeves that I got made, and this was the brain dump page for that. Some exploration for a squirrel character. I wanted to make a full illustration with this one, but I never actually ended up doing that. Here you see a little bit more exploration of the composition that I wanted to use. This one I wanted to end up drawing, never did. Random drawings, and this was some exploration for a window drawing that I ended up doing. I would be drawing two girls on shop windows. Yeah, I was basically seeing like what kind of stylization I wanted to use for the human characters. This was during a workshop that I attended about interacting bodies. These were some explorations I did for that. Really fun workshop. These two as well. And just some color blobs with characters inside them. These are some designs for freebies that I currently give away with orders. And yeah, this is just a sketch from, I feel like, a really popular picture. I tried explaining how I drew to someone, and I don't know how well I explained my process, but I do really like how the final drawing ended up looking. More of the squirrel. Here I was also trying to explain how I draw heads, and these were drawn while I was at a cafe. More cafe drawings, mostly just from imagination. Some more pen doodles, again trying to draw without a sketch first. And yeah, I think they look really cute. Some doggies using acrylic markers. Oh, those are also Stabilo markers, but they are the thicker variant of it. And these are based on pictures that I took. And this is based on the landscape from the area that I live in. Just a bird's eye view, literally. And I use my brush pen for these and colored pencil for these. More colored pencil, composition sketches, a drawing a friend of mine, Susanne, made. These are based on the Raven Boys. Do have to say this is not... I don't really like how that one turned out. I want to draw them again. Another time in the future. Face warm-ups, again, trying to do without a sketch. For some reason, I always start whenever I draw faces with just a circle for the base. It gives me a little bit more of a starting point to work off of. More product planning. Here I drew Link. Don't draw fan art that often, but something in me just really wanted to draw my boy. And here I tried chalk pastels for the first time. I haven't really used them since making this swatch test. I haven't had the time to really play around and experiment with these. And as you can see, these don't work well within sketchbooks. They make a big mess. So yeah, this is for a time when I have the time to properly explore some art that isn't in my sketchbook. Then we arrive right here. T-shirt designs, sticker sheet designs. These are drawing Pokémons from description. And here is another drawing using Stabilo fineliner. I drew this while I was in a cafe, and I just bought Baldur's Gate, and this is based on the character that I made for it. And just, yeah, you can see the fantasy influences. This page also ended up doing really well as a short video, so thank you. And I ended up drawing this on another art date. Here I tried to draw her while she was sitting across from me. I actually filmed this also for a little fun art vlog where I take you along with me while I finish my sketchbook. So if you're curious to see the process of these next following pages, you can watch it over on my channel. And here I drew her using a mix of acrylic markers and colored pencils, and these two are from Imagination. This was during another art date with the sketch club that I organize. I really enjoy this page. Also, again, very good memories, had a great time. Yeah, and I feel like I am getting a better grasp of drawing with a pen without sketch first. It's really fun to see my progress over this sketchbook. Here I used, I feel like 90% just colored pencil and a little bit of acrylic marker. This was one of the first days where I got to sit outside in the sun, and the lovely weather inspired my art. And here I mostly just wanted to draw very fun, swooshy clouds. Inspired probably because these two were a lot of fun to draw, so I wanted to make some more. And I also wanted to make like a sort of storytelling around it. I ended up not really liking the composition of it and how much effort it would take to finish, so I ended up just putting effort in these swoops and left the rest unfinished. This is, I believe, just acrylic markers. Weird composition. Went into this one without a lot of planning. And here are some more t-shirt designs. This was while I was staying over at a friend's house, drawing what's outside of her window. This was a little wind chime she had hanging up. I turned this one into a stamp that I took with me for an art market. I vlog there as well, still have to edit it, but that will probably be my next video. And yeah, I ended up using this design quite a few times. I really like how it turned out. Here are some studies where I took some pictures, and these are just some value studies using like 3 colors max. These are based on an ornament book that I bought. I wanted to study some tile designs. And by this time I already knew that I wanted to turn this sketchbook into a little zine. So this was the sketch I ended up using for the cover. And I really like how it turned out here. It was a lot of fun to draw as well. Really went into a flow state while drawing this. And it's inspired by a picture that I took while I was in Japan a few years ago. And I just added the 2 characters in there for a bit more storytelling. And here is the last page, drawing some little color blobs and used different kinds of Stabilo fineliners to turn these random shapes into little drawings. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this sketchbook tour. If you enjoy it, consider checking out this little zine. I have another sketchbook tour up on my channel that will be shown on screen right here. And if you would like to watch me finish this sketchbook, that video is up right here. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully be seeing you in a future video. Thank you, bye bye.